Hello, this is Sean Howard again for Seminary Teacher Zoom Helps. This week we have some helps for 1 Nephi 11 through 15. This week I want to focus on some visual helps for teaching with Zoom. Often our learners are so visual and we have an opportunity. We never want to use PowerPoint too much or slides too much in a Zoom class, but if they're purposeful and for the right reason, a few slides can really be helpful. So I just want to go through this week's lessons and share a slideshow with you and just explain what I put together for you to help you out in any lesson you might be teaching over Zoom this next week. So if we go the first lesson, 1 Nephi 11, there's a part where I asked you to possibly show some pictures that are being described in this chapter here. I think it's verse 26 to 33 about Christ. And so I went through and I just made a slide for just about every verse in there that describes what was being talked about in those verses. So please feel free to use those slides for that lesson when you're having that discussion and going through those verses. Then in the next lesson, 1 Nephi 13 through 14, there's a time where it has them kind of do a little quiz type thing where they're matching on the right what they say and the verses on the left. I just gave you a real quick visual so you can put that up there and help that situation and experience with your class. Then the next lesson, 1 Nephi 13, 20 through 42, at the beginning it talks about a bike. Gave you a quick bike there that you could easily use. And then there's an activity a little bit later on in the lesson where they need to go to these different groups of scriptures and ask themselves, what if we just had that first Bible verse and then read the second and third verse about modern day revelation, the Book of Mormon and later, and how that helps clarify things and what they learn and realize because of the great revelation that we have besides just the Bible. Great activity. There's a visual to help set you up. I tried to make it easy for groups, A, B, C, D, E, so you can even do breakout rooms and ask them to do something. If you did breakout rooms and kind of sent them to go on their own for a little while, I would suggest inviting them, showing the slide and inviting them to write down the questions they're looking at and the scriptures that they're going to and the topic that they have, and then send them to their breakout groups after they've already written that down so they can be successful in those groups. Now, the next lesson is our Assess Your Learning, number 1. I gave a few links right there to some websites that I used. It's the first time I used them to create a little fake Instagram post and a quick little comic storyboard. That might be something that you might want to try to do from time to time as you're trying to bring to life sometimes the visual of your Zoom class. I wouldn't do it too much, but every once in a while you could use these. But I put a few together. There's an activity in this Assess Your Learning where they're going to have 3 different scenarios or activities they can do about sharing their testimony. Here's a visual for the first one. It's Fast Sunday. What can I say today about how I feel about the Book of Mormon? And the students take a moment to think and write down what they could share about how they feel about the Book of Mormon. Then the next activity was a little scenario between a sibling or a friend and you when you're reading the Book of Mormon. And so I put together a little storyboard of you reading the Book of Mormon there. A friend comes up and says, "Hey, what are you reading?" Or a sister, "What are you reading?" And you say the Book of Mormon, and then the friend says, or sibling says, "Why?" Then the activity is, well, what would you say back? Write a sentence or two describing why you chose to read the Book of Mormon. Again, fun little storyboard there to make it a little bit more come to life instead of just talking about it in a Zoom class. And then the last activity that it had in this little section of the lesson was this idea that a friend, you saw their post on social media, Instagram here, saying they've recently started reading the Book of Mormon. So I went ahead and made a little fake Instagram post there that kind of brings it more to life as you're talking about and having them work through this scenario and share in different ways how they would respond to this situation. So hopefully those are helpful to you this week. And then just the last lesson, the review lesson, all I did quickly was give you the 12 Doctrine Mastery scriptures that it asks you to have the students mark and review during this class period. So I want to make it easy for you real quick so you have a quick visual for that. I hope those quick little videos or visuals, are helpful to you. Sometimes just a little bit of variety in what we show our students in simple little ways on Zoom can make all the difference in engaging and having a little bit of fun and enjoyment in our class. So have a great week.